Let's talk about having multiple different products, each one of which, well, most of which haven't really sold a lot, but you still have to service them and maintain them and market them and everything else like that. It becomes a real mismatch and a mess. What happens is when you're in that situation, you have the dreaded condition called MPS, which is short for multiple product syndrome. It's a dreaded, sometimes deadly disease. Well, I'm just having fun here. Probably not deadly, but it can be to your business if you're not careful. Here's what happens. You start a business and you've got a main product, and this is what you're going to promote. And it's great. You're new, you promote it, you don't get in enough money from that. It does great, or it might not do great, but it doesn't do quite enough to pay all your bills for the entire year or until you're next going to launch that. And so what ends up happening is you'll come up on a point where you need some cash. And meanwhile, you look and you see a market need. And so what do? Hey, let's just do this. Let's create a new product. And so you sell some, but not tons of that new product. And so now you got a problem. I got this product that I thought I was going to sell a whole bunch for. I only sold a little bit, but I still have to deliver it and maintain it and market and everything else like that. And so because it didn't sell a ton, after a few weeks, months, whatever, you need cash and you see a need. And can you see what's happening here? Pretty soon you got 30 separate products. And you're going, how in the world did I get in this mess? I thought I was going to sell the main product. Now I got all this other stuff around it. And it's really confusing just for me, much less any team members I've got. And forget your customer who has no idea what you do, what your brand represents, what your specialty really is. All right. It's just a mess. So what do you do? Number one, let's talk about those of us, and I say us because I've gotten myself into this exact situation several times over the years. So the first step is to evaluate your portfolio, to look at, is this portfolio on brand for me? Sometimes this requires you to figure out what is on brand for me and actually set that up. And then you end up simplifying. You end up going through and you say, okay, sales numbers. Do I want to serve this market? Does this attract somebody who's going to go through my entire funnel all the way up into my high-end products? Is this right? Is this product a good fit for my portfolio long-term? And hey, you fearlessly cut what doesn't fit. And yes, some people might buy that, but it's not worth keeping it around because it doesn't fit. If you go to Walmart and you go look at the shelves, you'll have 3 or 4 different product offerings selling something. You don't have 19 or 20. Why? Because what they did was they recognized they have a limited amount of resource, in this case, shelf space, but also warehouse space and people to put them on the shelves and everything else like that. And so what they do is they 80-20 it. They take the best selling products, that's what they sell. And the other stuff might be available online, may not be available at all from them. And so that's what you're doing, is you're taking your portfolio, you're 80-20 and you're cutting so that the portfolio that results is on strategy, on brand, and is good sellers that you want to continue to promote. Now, can I give you just a little hint? Since you already went out and created that product, what you may want to do is make those products you cut bonuses for your other products. Because remember, they happened not only because you needed cash, but because you saw a need. And when there's a need, sometimes that need can be very well supplied by creating it, by putting them in as a bonus on a product you're selling. Okay, now let's talk about, for those of you who haven't created this mess for yourself yet, but still like maybe need cash and trying to figure out how to do it. Let's talk about how to prevent creating this syndrome, the dreaded MPS syndrome. Okay, first thing, every new product must fit your strategic plan, your branding, where you want to go. And even if you need cash, you don't introduce it if it doesn't fit. Now, how do we handle the I need cash? All right, so I'm going to throw out a model here for just a moment that I invite you to think about. Instead of going off and creating a new product to fulfill that need, what if you do this? You take that need that's there in the marketplace. You start talking about that need in your Instagram post and your emails and everything else that you do. And then you offer that need a webinar that helps to solve that need. And that webinar, you talk about that need, and the webinar promotes your main product. So you take that need that you see that's there and you use that need to promote your main product. And what that ends up doing is you don't create a whole bunch of extra courses. You use the needs as the front end that end up selling them the main product that you're offering. And pretty soon what you don't have is a large portfolio of products that don't fit, haven't sold much, and are difficult to service. It all comes down to this: just be wise. And hey, be strategic while you're at it. Okay, so I hope all this made sense. Now, where does this all come from? Because I work with a whole bunch of people who have developed that very problem. And a lot of what we do is we end up sorting that out for them. And so what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to help you see, hey, there are ways to be able to sort it out. And number two, to be able to prevent it if you're in the path to create that problem in your own life. So avoid MPS, the multiple product syndrome. It can be really damaging to your business over time. All right, have you done this? Have you got a portfolio of a bunch of products that you created that you really don't really like having around anymore? How are you solving that? What should I have talked about that I didn't? Let me know in the comments. This is Don Crowther saying, just go do this stuff.